Peace, YouTube. Welcome to Winning Wednesdays for Wednesday, December 24th, 2025. Today is the best day in history. Today is the best day in history. Okay. Every day is the best day in history. All right. So, one thing I do is get my mind right, get my skills right, get my hustle right. Okay. Every day I wake up. Every day that God breathes life into me is the best day in history. If I wake up tomorrow morning, tomorrow will be the best day in history. Okay, that's my mindset. I have no time to waste. I'm locked in. Okay, so today is Wednesday, December 24th, 2025. The future is here. The future been here. Okay, breaking news. Not so breaking news. Not so breaking news here on Winning Wednesdays. The future been here. Okay, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? All right, as you come in, let's see. As you come in, drop where you're from. Today we are live on StreamYard. We are live on the Financial Juneteenth YouTube channel, and we are live on Dr. Boyce's X channel. So we welcome everyone across the different platforms. Today I've got several things I wanted to discuss. As you may know, my name's Errol, and I am simply an unapologetic melanated man. There will be no apologies. Okay, there will be no apologies for our health. There will be no apologies for our wealth. There will be no apologies for our excellence. Okay, no apologies. Okay, we're leaving that shit last decade. No apologies. Okay, there will be no apologies. Okay, there will be no apologies. We're tired of apologizing. That shit got us nowhere. Okay, no more apologies. All right, first thing on the agenda. I'm looking at the market right now. What do I see? Okay, S&P slightly up, Nasdaq slightly up, some of the mega caps slightly up. Bitcoin at 87,300, Ethereum at 2,900. What do I see? Meta at 667. Okay, at Netflix at 93. I kind of like Netflix at current market of 93.47. Maybe we pull up Netflix. Let's take a look at Netflix, actually. Let's start. Netflix. Let's see what's going on with Netflix. Okay, Netflix been in the news a lot recently. I like the price, 93. Let me share my screen. Netflix stock. Here we go. Okay, Netflix currently at 93.48 right there. All right, let's see what's going on with Netflix. Okay, slightly down today, 5-day down 1.6, 1 month down 12.6. Okay, last 6 months down 27%. Okay, don't believe me, the numbers don't lie. Okay, right there, year to date, up down 5%. Looks like down 5% year to date. 1 year about flat. Okay, numbers don't lie. I could lie, you could lie. These charts, these numbers don't lie. All right, that's Netflix. Let's see what else we got. Nvidia 188. Okay, Nvidia's rebounded since yesterday. Currently at 108. Tesla I see at 482. Another interesting one. Maybe let's look at Tesla. Okay, Tesla I believe is the all-time high, approaching 500. Okay. Let's take a look at Tesla. Okay, Tesla currently 482.17. Let's see here. 5-day about just slightly down. Yep, down 5-day. 1 month up 15%. 6 months up 41%, 42%. Year to date, down 27%. Okay, let's see here. Is that down 20% year to date? 27%. Okay, 1 year down 4%. Okay. Let's see the max. Let's see if we can see max. Okay, if you can see that chart right there, it looks like Tesla's at its all-time high, approaching 500. Okay, that's Tesla approaching 500. Okay, what else do I see? Let's see here. TSM just under 300, currently 298.49. TSM. All right, let's see what else we got here. I wanted to talk about the SPY. You may have heard that the SPY is at an all-time high. Okay, I believe yesterday it closed at its all-time high. Let's take a quick look at the SPY. All right, here is the SPY currently at 690.45. Okay, 1 day, about flat on the 1 day, 5 days up almost 2%. All right, so yeah, 6 months, 13%, year to date, 18%, 1 year, 14. Okay, so let's see here. Let's click on news. All right, let's see here. I wanted to see if I could find an article on the SPY. SPY all-time high, all-time high. Okay, right here, Motley Fool, S&P has reached all-time high. Should you invest now or wait? Let's see here. Oh, this is from September 10th. Okay, I want to actually see if I can filter by latest. This is from several months ago. All right, let's ask Google what's up. Okay, here we go. SPY reached all-time high intraday high of 690.49 today, December 24th. The all-time high closing price was 687.98. So if it closes at 690 today, now we'll have a new all-time high. And actually, that's a great reminder. Today, the market closes at 1 p.m. Eastern. So we close early today and we close for the holiday tomorrow. So let's see here. S&P has seen significant growth in 2025, marking its 38th record high for the index this year. Okay, the current market session on today's date has experienced ghost town trading volumes, allowing thin trading to push the market into new territory. Over the last 52 weeks, the S&P ETF has traded in a range between a low of 481 and its new high of 690.49. Okay, S&P all-time high. Are you invested in the S&P 500? Are you invested in the S&P 500? Let's click on this. What's driving the S&P performance? Primarily driven by a combination of strong corporate profits fueled by AI, a soft landing economy, and supportive Fed monetary policy. Okay. A few reasons behind the all-time high. AI-driven corporate earnings rally has been significant, concentrated in mega cap tech stocks. NVIDIA, Micron, continued massive capital expenditures in AI infrastructure are driving substantial profit growth and justifying high valuations. Fed reserve policy, Fed's execution of 3 consecutive 25 basis point interest rates in late 25 provided necessary market liquidity. Economic resilience, better than expected economic data, including strong Q3. Let's see, Santa Claus rally. Okay, hey, we might not have the cash, but we do have the cash to spend for Santa Claus. Okay, typical year-end bullish momentum, often referred to as the Santa Claus rally, also has is also in effect, providing a general tailwind for stock leading into the new year. Okay, never mind you can't pay the bills, never mind you can't afford food, you can't afford Santa Claus presents. Okay, Santa Claus rally. Okay, so here's some key drivers pushing the S&P into all-time high territory. Okay. Never mind, you can't afford to live. Okay, Santa Claus don't care. You better have them presents under the. You better go into debt to have them Santa Claus presents, right? Okay, S&P all-time high. Okay, there you go. S&P all-time high. How do you guys feel about that? Okay, how do you guys feel about that? Okay, never mind record corporate earnings. They need your ass spending. They need your ass spending. All right. Okay. Santa Claus rally, S&P all-time high. There you go. What else we got? Okay, so we just talked about some current market. Okay, I see Bitcoin 87.2. Okay, I'm keeping an eye on Bitcoin. 87.2 for Bitcoin. All right. Okay, let me stop sharing that one. There we go. Okay, so light week in the market this week, short week this week. Today's early close, tomorrow's holiday. I think we're back to business Friday. Regular market hours as on Friday. Okay, short week, 3.5. Let me think about it. 3.5 day this week. all day Monday, all day Tuesday, all day Friday, half day today. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. What else do we have here? Okay, so I wanted to actually discuss this right here. Let me see here. Okay, what day is it today? Wednesday. On Monday, and on this past Saturday. Okay, so twice in the last 4 or 5 days, I was walking the streets of Georgetown, Guyana. Okay, I was literally walking the streets of Georgetown, Guyana. I walked by a building. I think it was the Guyana Stock Exchange building, and I didn't realize it at the time. I should have taken a picture, but I pulled up Google and I wanted to share how things work in Guyana in terms of stock market. Let me share my screen here. I literally just Googled Guyana stock market. Okay, as you may know, Guyana. Oh, wrong. Okay, as you may know, Guyana is a country in South America, in the very southeastern tip of South America. I was walking the streets of Georgetown, Guyana, last few days, and I saw this picture. Actually, let me go to images. Okay, I saw this picture in the upper right. Guyana Stock Exchange, invest in your future. Okay, I literally walked by a building with this sign on it. I should have taken a picture, but it's interesting to see how things work actually in Guyana in terms of stock market. Okay, this is a picture right here of the main market in Georgetown, Guyana, and this stock market building is like a block away from this main market. So I wanted to pull up Investopedia and just show you just contrast how things work down there versus how things work here in the United States. Okay, Guyana has its own stock market, Guyana Stock Market Exchange, which is supervised by that. I wanted to show. Okay, so here are the company. I think there's 12 companies on that market. Small developing market dividends earned from local exchange are tax-free for investors. Despite Guyana's rapid economic growth, largely due to its burgeoning oil and gas, local stock market has been seen limited growth and decline in market cap in recent years. Okay, so here are the publicly traded companies. Okay, a couple of banks: Citizens Bank, another bank, tobacco company, another bank. Okay, investing in this Guyana stock market. Foreign investors are permitted to participate in the Guyanese stock market and can access local credit though they may need to satisfy local banking requirements. Okay, I thought I saw. Let me pull up the Wikipedia article I was reading. It was very interesting. Yeah, right here, Guyana stock market. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Oh, it lists 15 registered companies. 15 registered companies. I believe in the U.S. market, there's like 4,000 registered companies. Okay, so imagine that difference. 15 registered companies here, 4,000 in the United States. Okay. All right, so that's a quick summary on how things work in the Guyana stock market. Okay, very interesting. Okay, here you go. Look, check this. Total market cap is 2.7 billion. Okay, there's several companies within the U.S. stock market that are worth way more than 2.7 billion. Okay, worth way more. So a very interesting comparison there. Very interesting comparison. All right, let me stop sharing that. Let me go back. Okay. All right, so very interesting there. All right, I saw an article, I believe it was on silver. I believe silver just hit an all-time high as well. Let's take a look at what's going on with silver. Silver news. Okay, let's see here. Let me share my screen. I believe it just hit an all-time high yesterday or the day before. Okay, are you guys invested in silver? Do you guys own any silver? Okay, let's see here. 7 hours ago from CBS, what is the silver price forecast for next year? Why are gold and silver prices hitting record highs? Let's check out ABC News. Shout out ABC News. Let's see what it says. Okay, the price of gold has soared nearly 70% this year.
All right, so that's one pair of glasses with prescription lenses.
Okay, let's pause the video. Prices of gold and silver hit record highs on Monday, extending a banner year for precious metals. Gold has risen 10% over the past month and nearly 70% this year. As of midday Monday, the price of gold had topped $44.70 per ounce. $44.70 per ounce. Okay, so let's think about that. $44.70 per ounce. Okay, silver bested its amber counterpart over the span, jumping almost 40% over the last month and 134% this year. Heightened geopolitical and economic uncertainty have boosted demand for gold and silver, which typically display a degree of independence from movements in stock prices. Volatility in bond markets and devaluation of the US dollar, meanwhile, have unsettled alternative assets typically viewed as safe haven assets. These prices moves have made history. Okay, they have made history. However, gold and silver carry volatility of their own, especially when buyers enter the market at a high point, risking losses instead of providing a security blanket. Raw commodity markets go through boom and bust cycles. We're in a boom cycle for gold and silver. The run-up in gold and silver has come amid a wobbly moment for the economy and persistent global unrest. Precious metals are widely viewed as a hedge against geopolitical unrest because the millennial-old stores of value are perceived as investments that could outlive calamity. The surge in gold prices has coincided with a depreciation in the value of U.S. dollar. Its value against other currencies plunged about 11% over the first half. The decline in the U.S. dollar's value reflects a shift away from global dependence on the dollar as a global reserve currency. All right. Many investors and institutions around the world are looking for an alternative defensive asset. We're probably in the 8th or 9th inning of this boom cycle in the gold and silver markets. Even if we're in the 8th or 9th inning, a lot of runs could still be scored. We don't know where the prices are going in the next few weeks or months. Okay, so precious metals. Okay, precious metals are on fire. Why gold and silver prices are hitting record highs. Okay, shout out to ABC News for this article. Okay, gold and silver all-time highs. All right, okay. Very interesting precious metals. All right, let's see what else we have. Okay, let's get right to some YouTube shorts. You know, I like the YouTube shorts. Let's get to the YouTube shorts. I saw several interesting shorts on CNBC and Yahoo Finance. Let's get to CNBC. All right, here's CNBC's YouTube short page. I saw a short I wanted to share regarding marijuana. Let's see what it says.
Trump just made the biggest federal cannabis move in over 50 years, and Wall Street is already reacting. I'm Brandon Gomez at CNBC headquarters, and President Trump has officially signed an executive order reclassifying cannabis, moving it out of Schedule 1, the same category as heroin, and into Schedule 3. Now, that change eases restrictions on research, banking, and taxes, and could reshape the entire cannabis industry. Now, Trump says the move is about patients, including veterans, seniors, and people with chronic pain, cancer, and seizure disorders who rely on cannabis for relief. But that's not all. The administration is also launching a Medicare pilot program for CBD, expected to start in April, allowing some seniors to receive doctor-recommended CBD products through federally insured healthcare. And that would be a first. The markets, though, were mixed in reaction. In the immediate, U.S. cannabis stocks slid as investors weighed tax relief against new competition, including Big Pharma, who now is eyeing federally backed revenue. Why does this matter financially? Well, reclassification removes a major tax burden, now letting cannabis companies deduct rent and payroll for the first time, a potential lifeline for the industry. And remember, Trump stressed this. This does not legalize recreational marijuana. And the FDA still hasn't fully backed CBD, citing mixed evidence and possible health risks. So the bottom line, this executive order opens the door to more research, more money, but also a major fight over who controls the future of cannabis. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Hey,
Trump just made the big
Trump reclassifying marijuana. Okay, United States reclassifying marijuana. In my opinion, 30 years late is better than never at all. Okay, 30 years late. Okay, United States is about 30 years late when it comes to marijuana. That's just my 2 cents. Let's see here. What else we have here? Let's see. Okay, here we go.
I'm thrilled to be joined by the leaders of 9 of the world's largest pharmaceutical manufacturers, all very big names, celebrities in their own right, very, very powerful people. And they head some of the most admired companies anywhere in the world. It's a great group. To announce that they've agreed to offer many of their flagship drugs, really all of their flagship drugs, at heavily discounted, most favored nations prices. In other words, whatever the drug sells for over the world, in the world, whatever the lowest number is, if it's Germany, if it's in UK, anywhere, we will match that price. I'm thrilled to be joined by the leaders of 9.
How do you guys feel about that? Okay, my initial reaction is, okay, yeah, you're going to reduce prices, but what does it matter if the price was marked up 3,000% to begin with? Okay, if you mark up the price 3,000%, then give me a 20% discount. I mean, like, that's just my thought, but that's just my 2 cents. Okay, feel free to disagree. Feel free to have your own opinion. Okay. If you jerk me 3,000 times, what does it matter if you don't jerk me, if you only jerk me 2,800 times now? Like, it doesn't make, that's just my 2 cents though. All right, let's see what else we got. All right, let me stop sharing that one. Let me share Yahoo Finance. I saw several interesting YouTube shorts on Yahoo Finance. Let's see what we have here on Yahoo Finance. Let's see. Okay, here's one I saw on Buffett. Interesting one here.
The most important thing is really who you associate with. You want to associate with people that are better than you are. I mean, basically, you'll go in the direction of the people that you associate with. And you want to have the right heroes. The most important thing is really who you associate with. You want to associate with people that are better than you are. I mean, basically, you'll go in the direction of the people that you associate with. And you want to have the right heroes.
Okay, so a very short Buffett discussing your circle, your network. Okay, this is a reminder to myself first. I got to keep heavyweights in my circle. Okay, I got to keep heavyweights. I got to keep people doing big things in my circle. I do not want to be a laggard in my network. Okay, I'm afraid to be a laggard in my network. I got to stay on top of my game 30 hours a day, 8 days a week. Okay, reminder to myself first. All right, let's see what else we got. All right, here's an interesting one. Investing in gold versus AI. Let's see what we got.
Something about those two assets. Gold, you have to go decide to buy. AI, I'm massively exposed to AI stocks because I have the S&P 500. I'm already plenty long AI, but gold requires like that extra active decision. And I think it's interesting to see, again, with private markets being on here as well, there's a real itch that people are trying to scratch because I think they understand that they're already long AI. I think the average person knows I've got a lot of NVIDIA. I could buy more, that's a lot of fun, but there's other things they're trying to do because that's already in their portfolio.
So older cohorts of investors, and we know where they are around the country, Vegas and in Florida and stuff, they keep buying gold, right? They keep adding to their positions in gold. But most investors who are heavy the market are going to be heavy the market, and that going out on a limb to balance it out with a little bit of gold, it's heavy for them. It's a heavy asset. It's a lot to think about. So I still think it's a stock-driven crowd no matter what.
Interesting about those two assets. Gold, you have to go decide to buy. AI, I'm massively exposed to AI stocks because I have the S&P 500. I'm already plenty long AI, but gold requires like that extra active decision. And I think it's interesting to see, again, with private markets being on here as well, there's a real itch that people are trying to scratch because I think they understand that they're already long AI. I think the average person knows I've got a lot of NVIDIA. I could buy more, that's a lot of fun. But
interesting short on gold and AI. Let's see what else we have here. Anthropic. This is one here I saw.
They're growing month over month. I mean, if you look at some of the public reports, their revenue has been increasing by $1 billion ARR every single month. And so as they continue to grow, they need additional compute to keep up with the demand of their users. And so they're one of the fastest growing companies in the world right now.
How important was it that Google backstopped all this?
Critical. I mean, without Google, we would not be able to get JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs to commit to balance sheet financing to be able to give us up to 85% of the actual cost to build a data center for project financing, and at a really low rate of SOFR plus 2.25% target. And so overall, the clarity of Google backstopping, and think about this, it's a $7 billion deal. That's roughly $450 million a year. $450 million on average a year for 15 years for Hut 8 transforms the business. They're growing month over month. I mean, if you look at some of the public reports.
Okay, Anthropic, okay? Anthropic, very interesting company. We just talked about Tesla right here. We see a short on Tesla and Musk. Okay. SpaceX, well, I think we talked about SpaceX, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Let's view this last one.
Buffett is the greatest capital allocator and the greatest investor of all time. He's not known as the best manager of all time. Warren Buffett is known to be a hands-off manager. He has a decentralized structure. Since Buffett is going to be gone, he's the greatest stock picker of all time. I'd like them to de-emphasize the actual stock picking. I'd like them to start paying a dividend. I would like them also to buy back shares. It'd be great if they could make acquisitions, if they could find them. Unfortunately, a company that size, it's hard to find an acquisition that's cheap that also moves the needle. To me, a great sign for Wall Street would be for him to buy an extremely large amount of Berkshire stock personally and really put his money where his mouth is. Buffett is the greatest capital allocator.
YouTube short discussing Warren Buffett being one of the greatest investors of all time. All right, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? How do you guys feel about Buffett? I think he's retiring this coming year. I don't have the exact date though. Let's see here. All right, one thing I wanted to mention was the B1 Options Masterclass. The B1 Options Masterclass. Is anyone in the B1 Options Masterclass? Last night we had week 3. Okay, last night we discussed HELOC mathematics. Last night was week 3 of week 6. Is anyone in the B1 Options Masterclass? Let us know in the comments if you're in the B1 Options Masterclass. Let us know how you're finding the masterclass so far. Okay, we're about halfway through. I want to share my screen here. Let me share my screen and show you where we stand. Okay, so here's where we stand in terms of schedule. Okay. Today is 12/24. We rescheduled today's lab application till next week, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. So like I said, we met last night to discuss HELOC mathematics, not HELOC feelings, not HELOC emotions, not HELOC fear, rather HELOC mathematics. Okay, that was last night. Last week, we discussed how to reverse engineer your freedom. And the prior week, we met to discuss 5 selling strategies. Okay. So even if you're not in the B1 Options Masterclass, the replays are available. Next week, we will discuss position management. All right. So you might have heard me discuss position management prior. Okay. Selling to open the position is one thing. Managing the position is something completely different. Same idea in the real estate market. Closing on some real estate is one thing. Managing the real estate is something completely different. Okay, so next week we will discuss position management. January 6th, entity trading will be the topic. And then the following week, we will discuss margin secured puts. Even if you're not in the live class, consider joining. The replay alone will be a value add. The replay alone will be worth whatever expense you incur. Okay, so is anyone in the B1 Options Masterclass? Let us know in the comments. Are you in the B1 Options Masterclass? Okay. Why options? Let me see if I can pull up a graphic that I shared previously. Let me see here if I can find it. Let's see. Let me see if I can find my let's see if I can find this thing. If I can't find it, we'll just continue. But anyways, like I said, consider joining the B1 Options Masterclass. Even though we just completed week 3, you always have the replay available. You can go back and study the replays. You guys can have the PowerPoints that'll be available in your course curriculum. Let's see. I'll give it one more shot here. If I can't find it, it's all good. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. All right. So here's a schedule. Okay. If you're in the class, let us know how it's going so far. Consider joining. Even though we're about halfway through, still consider joining. You can have the next 3 weeks live and then also the replay. Okay. So B1 Options Masterclass, we get straight to the revenue. Okay. We don't get to the revenue on day 30. We don't get to the revenue on day 100. We don't project forward. We want revenue day 0 today. Okay. So if you're interested in options, why options? We get straight to the revenue. We skip the customer service. We skip the shiny resumes. We skip the people pleasing. We skip the job applications. We go straight to the revenue from day 0. From day 0, we go straight to the revenue. That's why options. Okay. Do you know any other business venture where you could get paid today? Not day 30, not day 90, not day 100. Do you know any other business venture where you can get paid immediately? Okay. Do you know a business venture that can pay you immediately? Okay. And if you do, does it return more? Let me say this correctly. Do you get a higher venture? Even if you know a business venture that can pay you immediately today, day 0, does it provide you a higher return for your time, effort, and capital? Do you know of any business venture that returns better for your time, effort, and capital than the options market? Okay. If you do know, drop it in the chat. Okay. Do you know any other business venture that gives you a better return for your time, effort, and capital than the options market? Okay. I'll wait. Drop it in the chat if you do. I'll wait. Consider joining the B1 Options Masterclass. We go straight to the revenue. Okay. We skip the people pleasing and ass kissing. We skip the begging. We skip the subordination. We go straight to the revenue from day 0. Okay. Day 0, not day 30, day 0. Today. I need my cash today. You need your cash today. Okay. That's why options. Okay. Forget the graphic. I just told you why options. All right. What else we got? Okay. Today is what? The 24th of December, 2025. Last Wednesday in the year. All right. Last Wednesday in the year. What is your portfolio looking like? Okay. We've got what? 1 trading day. How many more trading days do we have this year? Let's see here. We've got 30 minutes left today. We've got Friday. We've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 full days and 27 minutes. Okay. So take a look at your portfolio as December 31st approaches. Review some of your key metrics. Review your year-to-date return. Review your cash flow. If you sell options, review your net cash flow. Review how much collateral you put up. Ask yourself, was this worth my time, effort, and capital? Okay. Ask yourself what my ROI was. How much time did I dedicate to this? Was this efficient? Was this a good use of my capital? Was this a good use of my time? Was this worth it? Was this worth it? Okay. So as December 31st approaches, we must review some of the KPI, some of the key performance indicators. For me, it's cash flow, return, things like that. Okay. Can I cover my cost of living with my options revenue? Or do I have to go beg another grown man to feed me? Okay. Do I have to beg another grown man to feed me? Do I have to beg another grown man to like me? Do I have to beg HR to like my resume? Or can I skip all that BS and go straight to the revenue? Okay. All right, what else we got? Let's see what else we got. Okay, as the year end comes, make sure you review your KPI. Okay, make sure you review your KPI, key performance indicators. You are CFO whether you like it or not. You are CEO whether you like it or not. Okay. All right, I want to go on to earnings. Let's check out what companies report earnings this week. Oh, that's not even the right one. Let me share the correct screen here. Here we go. All right, so let's see what we have. Okay, shout out to Earnings Whisperers. Let's see here. Okay, today's the 24th. So it doesn't look like any major companies reported this week. I don't see anything on the list here. Just to make sure, what I'm going to do is ask the AI. I'm going to ask the AI just to be sure. Okay, so it looks like no major earnings this week or next week. But what I'm going to do just to confirm is ask the AI. Okay, I'm going to ask. Let me pull up Gemini AI. See if we can ask the AI. Gemini. Let's see here. Actually, let me ask GPT. Let me confirm that. Share screen. Let's go to GPT and see what GPT says. Okay, stay logged out. Okay. Let's add GPT. What companies report earnings this week? Okay, very quiet earnings week. Holiday shortened. Extremely quiet. Okay, Christmas holiday, early market closures. Tuesday, nothing crazy. Today, nothing crazy. There's the rest of the week. Okay, so very quiet week. Okay, major companies, no major S&P companies or widely followed earnings reports scheduled this week. Okay, so quiet on the earnings front this week. Okay, very quiet. All right, GPT says extremely quiet. Okay, extremely quiet this week in terms of earnings. All right, let's check some headlines. Maybe we check some headlines. Let's check some headlines. Let's check some headlines. All right, let me share my Yahoo Finance. Let's see what headlines Yahoo Finance has. Okay, Dow, S&P, records as Wall Street flies into Christmas. Okay. Let's see what Intel stock falls on report. NVIDIA halts production test. Let's see here. Mortgage rates drop. Tip lower in welcome gift for buyers. Okay, you guys looking to close on some real estate? Let's see what else we have. ChargePoint CEO sees pullback after EV tax credit expires. K-shaped consumer is alive and well. Let's check out this one. Okay, consumer spending powers, the U.S. economy. K-shaped economy will further test this dynamic in 26. Okay, some people are going in one direction. Other people are going in a different direction. All right, let's see what this says here. U.S. economy exits 25 with one phrase defining consumers, K-shaped. Some people are going up. Some people are going down. This year, the division between economic haves and have-nots widened. Okay, let's pause for the cause right there. Let's pause for the cause. Let's pause right there. Let's pause right there. This year, the division between the economic haves and have-nots widened. Okay, let's meditate on that sentence right there. That's a heavy sentence right there. That's a heavy sentence right there. What do you guys think about that sentence? With sentiments soaring as those in the middle of the income distribution were pressured by a softening labor market and feared inflation resulting from tariffs. Let's see here. And the divided sentiment and spending comes back to the stock market, which is set to close the year near record highs and record a third straight year of double-digit gains. Not only is the K-shaped economy higher income versus lower income, but it's also age-based and asset-based. Okay, not so breaking news. Not so breaking news here on Winning Wednesday. Not only is the K-shaped economy higher income versus lower income, but it's also age-based and asset-based, okay? Just because you're 65, that don't mean you can retire. Just because you're 35, that don't mean you can't retire. Not so breaking news. So if you're generally older and have a lot of assets, particularly in the stock market, let's see, then you're feeling pretty good about life. If you're not in that bucket, you're not feeling as optimistic, okay? Now, okay, that we don't need a PhD. We don't need 4 PhDs to understand common sense, okay? It's asset-based, okay? Do you own assets or do you own liabilities? Okay, where do you invest your time? Where do you invest your dollars? Over the course of the year, earnings reports from some of the biggest U.S. retailers showed how the K-shaped economy was creating winners and losers, okay? If you got Amazon Prime pulling up to the house, you better have Amazon stock. Okay. If you got if you got Walmart delivery, you better own some Walmart. You better have some Walmart ownership. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's right there. Retailers that are leaning into value and low prices reporting strong results and were rewarded by investors with shares of Walmart and off-price chain TJX, both outperforming the S&P. Okay, Walmart currently at 111.36. The middle and lower part of the income distribution is still under a lot of pressure, very much focused on basics and essentials for daily needs. Okay. Do you have food? Do you have water? Do you have shelter? Do you have clothing? Okay. Walmart referred to U.S. consumers as being choiceful in multiple earnings reports this year. And dollar store chains reported an influx of higher income shoppers this year as economic uncertainty pushed more households to look for ways to save. Okay, very interesting article here from Yahoo Finance. Okay, K-shaped economy. Okay, K-shaped economy. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Okay, let's check out some other headlines. Let's check out some other headlines here. Tesla faces probe. Intel slides on NVIDIA reports. Bitcoin falls. Okay, maybe let's check out some headlines from CNBC. CNBC. No doubt U.S. economy is slowing, Invesco says, tipping Europe to outperform. Why you should start planning now for a business exit you want. S&P climbs to fresh intraday record. Let's see. The next AI pivot will be toward efficiency and lowering costs. U.S. economy grows by 4.3% in Q3, much more than expected. Let's see if we can go to the markets section. Okay, S&P currently at 6932.91. There you see it right there at the top. S&P, let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay, S&P, can I make it bigger? No, I can't. Okay, S&P at S&P, let me see if I can. There we go. S&P 6932, NASDAQ 23,606, Dow Jones 48,742, VIX 13. Okay. That's where we currently sit as of 12:45 p.m. Eastern on December 24th. Okay, some of the biggest movers: Nike, Micron. I think Nike was it the Apple CEO bought some Nike shares recently? Okay, some headlines from CNBC here. You can check them out on your time. Let's check out CNN Business. I like CNN Business. Okay, my sport is business. Okay, I don't know much about tennis. I don't know much about hockey. My sport is business. I know business. Okay, let's check out CNN Business. Let's see what we got. Copper prices rising fast. Thieves are taking notice. Why so many Americans dislike this fast-growing economy. The U.S. economy expanded at the fastest pace in 2 years as wealthier Americans kept spending. All right, let's see what else we have here. Yeah, let's check out this one. Why so many Americans dislike this fast-growing economy. Wonder why. Data this week. Okay, I read too much. Okay, too much reading, I guess, makes you dangerous. Too much information. You having too much information makes you dangerous. Okay, I guess I'm considered dangerous. I like to read. Okay, CNN Business. Okay, you can check out CNN Business headlines on your own. Let's see what else we have. Another resource I like is, let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, here we go. Here it is right here. Let me share that one. We got Forbes in the building. Okay, Forbes in the building. Let's see what Forbes is going. Let's see what Forbes is talking about. Despite a bad year for billionaires, these 10 got much poorer in 25. Jobless claims fell unexpectedly last week. Okay, similar headline we saw a minute ago. U.S. economy accelerated in Q3 as GDP rises. Why there are suddenly so many self-made billionaires under 30? Let's see what else. Let's read that first article. Let's check out this article right here. All right. This is my last free article. Okay, I'll be reading too much. All right, let's see here. Okay, they mentioned Arnault. Who else did they mention? Gary Friedman, American chairman and CEO of Restoration. Here are the 10 other notable billionaire losers of 2025 data as of a couple days ago. Willis Johnson. Okay, Joe Schoen, Mark Schoen, Andrew Bielecki. Who else do we have here? Okay, Thomas Hagen and family. Okay, Michael Saylor. No one is betting on crypto like Saylor, who has both led his publicly traded enterprise to buy more than 670,000 Bitcoin, worth nearly 60 billion. Okay, Scott Farquhar. Who else? Jeff Green. Okay, so you can check out this article on CNN, on Forbes. Okay, see, the only name I recognize on this list is Saylor. Okay, I didn't see any of these guys flexing on Instagram. I didn't see any of these guys flexing on YouTube. They're on the low with it. Okay. All right. So interesting article from Forbes right there. Shout out to Forbes. Okay. Let's see what else we got. I've got a few months left. Let me check my notes here. Let's go to Google. Let me share my screen on Google. Share screen. I literally just went to Google and searched stock market news. Let's see what we got. Okay, let's see. Major U.S. indexes open mixed Wednesday. Investors weighed recent job data and corporate earnings. Dow Jones and NASDAQ traded higher in early action. Commodities and rates. Oil prices surged more than 2% after Trump ordered a blockade of sanctioned oil tankers, while the 10-year Treasury yield ticked higher. Is the stock market open Christmas Day? See holiday schedule. Okay, the market closes in 7 minutes, but we'll be closed tomorrow. Let's check Business Insider. Investors Business, excuse me. Yeah, you might have seen this. Nike jumped with Apple chief executive Tim Cook taking a stake. Okay, Cook is one of the biggest executives in the world. So it's interesting that he bought Nike, of all companies. Nike soars, BP trims Castro stake. Let's see. I got the ads coming up. Okay, let's see. Let me go back. Yeah, let's check Bloomberg right quick. Let's check Bloomberg. What's going on with Bloomberg? Okay, S&P record-breaking $17.5 trillion run. You need your piece of that 17.5. I need my piece of that 17.5. Let's see. Okay, Bitcoin misses out on Wall Street cheer to stall near 87. Let's check out that one. Okay, Bitcoin is missing out on the Christmas cheer. The world's largest cryptocurrency. Let me see here. Did I read too much? I have read too much. Okay, I've read too much. Too threatening. Okay, I'm too threatening. Okay, Bitcoin 87. Okay, what are some financial resources that you guys use? What are some financial resources that you guys use? Drop them in the chat. Drop them in the chat. My guy Kevin, shout out to Kevin. Let's see what Kevin has to say. Makes sense that gap is widening since the difference between haves and have-nots is literally assets. Yep, there you go. We were lied to. We were told that life is fair. There's equality for all. What else did we tell? What else BS were we told? I was told in the HR manual, we're all about equality. Okay, that was some bullshit. What else BS were we told? If we work hard, we'll get ahead. Okay, 20 years of hard work on my behalf. That was enough. I'm not working hard anymore. No thanks. I prefer efficient work. I don't prefer work at all, but if I was to prefer any type of work, it would be efficient work. It would be smart work, not hard work. Okay, what else? Has and has literally assets. Yep. In America, you need to own assets. Okay, you need to own assets. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Do you own cash flowing assets? Do you own real estate? Do you own stock? Do you own business? Do you own a dope side hustle? Do you own some crypto? Do you own precious metals? Do you own fine art? Do you own, what other assets do you own? If you own enough assets, you can send those assets to work. Okay, you don't have to go to work. You can send the assets to work on your behalf. Okay, we talk about that in the options market. If you're in last night's week 3 of the B1 Options Masterclass, I kind of broke down how I send Mark Zuckerberg to work every week. I broke down how I send Brian Armstrong to work every week. I prefer sleeping in. I prefer going to the beach. I broke down how I send Tim Cook to work every week. I prefer chilling. Okay, I'm not about that labor life. I'm about that chilling life. 20 years was enough. Shout out to my guy Howard. Happy holidays to everyone. Let's keep making the bread, keep expanding our capital base, keep expanding our mindset, keep expanding our skill set. We will release the fear. We will release the emotion. We will release the anxiety. We will attach the analysis. We will attach the mathematics. We will attach the abundance. We will release what not serves us anymore. We will attach what does serve us moving forward. Okay, last night in the HELOC mathematics class, I talked about detaching the fear regarding debt, detach the emotion regarding debt, detach the fear, the emotion, and the feelings. Detach the feelings when it comes to the debt. We will attach the mathematics. We will attach the analysis. We will attach the abundance. Okay. Numbers don't lie. That's why I purposely named week 3 HELOC mathematics, not HELOC feelings, not HELOC emotions, not HELOC fear, rather HELOC mathematics. The numbers don't lie. Type the numbers don't lie in the chat. Numbers don't lie. Type numbers don't lie in the chat. Type numbers. I'm gonna do it, man. Numbers don't lie. Okay. Numbers don't lie. Right there in the chat. Type numbers don't lie in the chat. Okay. Release the feeling. Release the emotion. Save the emotion. Save the feelings for your peoples. Save the feelings for your family. When it comes to the executive decision making, base your executive decision making on analysis. Shout out to my guy Howard. Howard says Black Business School keeps it real with understanding, freedom, education, and solutions. Okay. Formal education may get you a job. Freedom education may get you free. Study accordingly. Formal education may get you a job. Freedom education may get you free. Study accordingly. Okay. Shout out to my guy Howard. Prioritize the type of education according to your objective. Okay, if your objective is to get on the plantation, maybe you prioritize the formal education. If your objective is to get off the plantation, maybe you prioritize the freedom education. Okay, numbers don't lie. There you go. Shout out to my guy, Kevin. Numbers don't lie. Your cash flow don't lie. Your return on investment don't lie. Your return on capital don't lie. Okay, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. There you go. Numbers don't lie. Okay, numbers don't lie. Shout out to my guy Howard. Shout out to my guy Kevin. All right, 1 p.m. Eastern. Market should be closed by now. Today is the last winning Wednesday of the year. I hope these meetings bring some value to your life. I hope these meetings are a value add. I hope they're beneficial. I hope they increase your mindset. I hope they increase your skill set. I hope they contribute to your work ethic. Okay, I hope they contribute to your work ethic. All right. So we'll meet again next week, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Eastern every Wednesday. We discuss current events in the financial markets. Okay, if you're in the options market, we will skip all the begging and ass kissing. We will go straight to the revenue. Okay. Until then, until next week, my name is Errol. Keep doing your thing. Keep staying disciplined. Keep staying patient. Keep getting what you deserve in life. I'll check you out next week, Wednesday. Peace.